If there's one thing a woman can't fully control, it's the way her eyes respond to someone she's secretly attracted to. Long before words come into play, her gaze becomes the first language of interest. It's involuntary, subtle, and layered with emotion. Because while she may be guarding her feelings outwardly, playing it cool, keeping things casual, her eyes often betray her. They soften. They linger. They seek you out in a room even when her body and mouth try to act indifferent. This isn't about staring. In fact, it's usually the opposite. It's the quick glances when she thinks you're not looking. It's the way she might hold your gaze for half a second too long, just long enough to feel something before looking away like it never happened. That moment right there, that's not random. That's attraction wrestling with vulnerability. What most men fail to understand is that the female gaze is not just about visual stimulation. It's about emotional curiosity. When she looks at you and her pupils dilate, when she blinks more rapidly or suddenly adjusts her posture while watching you from across the room, she's not just looking at your appearance. She's trying to feel you. She's trying to pick up on your energy, your presence, your emotional state. She's watching not with judgment, but with quiet fascination. Now, some men will dismiss these signs. They'll say she's just being friendly, or maybe she looks at everyone like that. But a woman doesn't accidentally repeat that pattern with one person. If she's making repeated eye contact with you, especially in a setting where she doesn't have to, there's a reason. And if she avoids looking at you too much, but you still catch her sneaking glances when she thinks you're distracted, that's often an even stronger indicator. She's interested, but afraid to let that interest be seen. Eye contact is intimacy without physical touch. It's a silent way of saying, I see you and I want to be seen by you too. But if she's trying to keep her feelings a secret, she'll toggle between openness and retreat. Her eyes may light up when you enter the room, only to quickly avert once you make eye contact. That flicker, that hesitation, is loaded with emotional tension, and in many cases it means she likes you more than she's ready to admit. The emotionally aware man doesn't just react to what's obvious, he notices what's real. If her eyes tell a different story than her words, trust the eyes. Not because you should act immediately, but because it reveals a space of potential, a signal that something more may be happening beneath the surface. So the next time you catch her looking, don't just chalk it up to coincidence. Be present, be calm, and if you feel the connection too, let your gaze say something back. Without pressure, without urgency, just presence. Because the woman who secretly likes you may not say it aloud. But if you pay attention to her eyes, you'll realize she already has. One of the most telling indicators that a woman secretly likes you is her intentional proximity. And it's not always the kind of closeness that's obvious or loud. Often it's subtle. She lingers just a little longer in a place where you happen to be. She joins a conversation you're part of without being directly invited, or she randomly shows up in spaces that strangely align with your daily rhythm. These are not coincidences. They are calculated decisions disguised as casual moments, and they are driven by one core desire: to be near you, without revealing how much she wants that closeness. Women who are secretly attracted to someone often walk the tightrope between exposure and control. She doesn't want to appear too eager or obvious. At the same time, her attraction compels her to place herself where connection becomes possible. Her logic may say, keep it cool, but her emotional body is quietly leading her into your orbit. Why? Because being around you, even passively, gives her access to something she craves: your energy, your voice, your presence. Now, this isn't about manipulation. This is instinct. It's how attraction works when someone is still processing their feelings. Think about it. In a world where women are constantly taught to protect their emotions, guard their reputation, and never chase a man, what options does she really have when she starts developing real interest? She can't confess. She may not even admit it to herself. But she can show up. She can find reasons to be near you, to start conversations, to find connection through shared space. You may notice she suddenly becomes more involved in things you're a part of. She volunteers for the same projects. She asks questions she already knows the answer to. She initiates brief but recurring interactions, and though the words exchanged may seem insignificant, the pattern behind them is not. She is building familiarity, emotional safety, and rapport, one encounter at a time. What many men do in these moments is misread the opportunity. They either overlook it entirely, too focused on overt signs, or they jump in too aggressively, interpreting her presence as full permission to escalate. But a woman showing up near you is not always inviting a move. Sometimes she's just testing how safe it feels to want you. She's watching how you handle her closeness. She's observing your energy. And most importantly, she's asking a quiet question with every interaction. Is it okay to keep getting closer? And this is where masculine awareness becomes your greatest asset. When you can notice her subtle moves without reacting with ego, when you can meet her presence with relaxed attentiveness rather than assumption, you create a space where attraction can evolve into intimacy. You're not chasing or crowding. You're simply available emotionally and energetically. So if you start seeing her more often, if her path starts to cross yours in ways that feel intentional, understand this: she's not just present, she's positioning herself. Because when a woman truly likes you, but isn't ready to say it, her presence will speak for her. The question is, are you paying enough attention to listen? When a woman secretly likes you, one of the most revealing cues isn't necessarily what she does, it's how she changes who she becomes around you. That shift in behavior, that subtle adjustment in energy, isn't random, it's deliberate, even if she's unaware of it. And the most powerful lens through which to spot this is contrast. How does she treat you compared to how she interacts with other men? You see, most people wear a social mask. Women are no different. They know how to be charming, polite, distant, or casual, depending on the situation. But when attraction creeps in, especially the kind she's not ready to admit, the mask doesn't fit quite the same anymore. Her guard slips, her tone softens, her body language becomes more open or sometimes more nervous. And the way she engages with you stands out from how she engages with everyone else. It may look like laughter that's a little too frequent or too sincere when you speak. It may sound like her voice slightly changing pitch, higher, lighter, because her body is literally responding to your presence. Or it might even show up in the way she becomes more quiet and reserved, suddenly aware of how much she wants to make a good impression. The irony is that in trying not to seem obvious, she ends up revealing the very thing she's trying to hide. One of the clearest psychological indicators of hidden attraction is the inconsistent behavior driven by emotional intensity. She might be overly attentive one day and then distant the next, not because she's playing games, but because she's emotionally overwhelmed. Her nervous system is trying to regulate a desire she hasn't yet figured out how to express. You become her internal emotional storm, whether you realize it or not. Here's the key. Most men miss this pattern because they're too focused on verbal confirmation. But a woman will rarely verbalize what she hasn't yet fully admitted to herself. Instead, it will leak through in her reactions, how she lights up when you walk in, how she remembers small details you mentioned once, how she seems to mirror your energy without even realizing it. And it's not just about attraction, it's about emotional contrast. You make her feel something different, and that different is both thrilling and unnerving. It's what causes her to hold eye contact longer than she does with others. It's what makes her lean in just a little closer, even when she's saying something neutral. It's what drives her to pay attention to what makes you laugh, what moves you, what frustrates you. She doesn't do that with everyone else. So if her energy shifts when you enter the room, if she seems more present, more self-aware, or even slightly off balance, understand that it's not just about you being attractive. It's about you being emotionally significant. You've moved past the surface and into her nervous system. And whether she's ready to speak that truth or not, her behavior has already begun to tell the story. The woman who treats you differently from all the rest isn't just being nice. She's navigating the tension between what she feels and what she fears. And if you can feel that contrast too, don't ignore it. That's where real connection begins. One of the most overlooked yet deeply meaningful signs that a woman secretly likes you is how closely she tunes into your inner world. I'm not just talking about her asking you how your day went or whether you ate lunch. I mean a kind of emotional awareness, a level of attentiveness to your moods, energy, and tone that seems unusually perceptive. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, she starts noticing things most people miss. She picks up on the way your voice changes when you're tired or stressed. She catches the small flicker in your expression when something bothers you, even if you don't say it out loud. And often, she will respond subtly, checking in, offering a soft comment, mirroring your mood without even realizing she's doing it. This isn't just kindness or empathy. This is emotional investment. It's the part of attraction that goes beyond surface admiration and lands in the heart of connection. Because when a woman secretly likes you, she wants to understand you. Not just who you appear to be, but who you are when you're not performing. She watches for those quiet, unfiltered moments when your real self shows up. And when it does, she leans in. Not physically always, but emotionally, attentively. This kind of energy is not something she offers to everyone. It's selective, it's subconscious, and it's often cautious. Because to care this deeply without the safety of clarity, without knowing whether her feelings are mutual, is vulnerable. So her interest will be expressed through attentiveness, not direct words. You'll feel it in how she remembers your habits, how she adjusts her energy to match yours, how she seems intuitively aligned with your emotional state. It's also important to note that this level of attunement creates a space where trust begins to form. You may find yourself opening up to her without fully understanding why. That's because, whether consciously or not, she's signaling safety. She's holding space without needing to dominate it. And that kind of quiet emotional presence is rare, especially in relationships that haven't been defined yet. Now here's the danger. Many men misinterpret this emotional sensitivity as simply being nice or friendly. And in doing so, they miss the subtle but powerful message she's sending. She's not just responding to your emotions, she's invested in them. Her emotional radar is tuned into you because on some level you've become emotionally significant to her. So the next time she picks up on something, before you even say a word, the next time she checks in after a tough day or matches her tone to yours in a moment of silence, understand what's really happening. She's not just being thoughtful, she's feeling you. That's emotional intimacy in its earliest, most unspoken form. A woman who senses your shifts and mirrors your moods isn't just paying attention. She's building a bridge between your inner world and hers. And if you can recognize that and respect it, you'll begin to see the connection she's too scared to say out loud, but deeply hopes you'll feel. You can often hear what a woman isn't saying by watching what her body is doing, especially when she secretly likes you. The human body doesn't lie, not when emotions are involved. And for a woman holding back her feelings, body language becomes the delicate balance between expression and self-protection. It becomes the battleground between I want you to notice me and I can't afford to let you know just yet. Now, this isn't about exaggerated gestures or obvious flirting. In fact, most of the time, her attraction expresses itself in much more subtle, nuanced ways. It might be the way she unconsciously leans in when you speak, even if her words are guarded. It might be the way she plays with her necklace or touches her hair when you're near. Not as performance, but as a nervous, soothing behavior triggered by emotional activation. These are not random habits. These are physiological cues driven by internal tension. And what tension are we talking about? It's the tension of wanting to be seen without being exposed, wanting to feel connection without risking rejection. She wants you close, but she doesn't want to lose her emotional leverage. So you'll see her body shifting between openness and retreat. Maybe she uncrosses her legs, angles her torso toward you, or mirrors your gestures. Then suddenly she folds her arms or checks her phone. That isn't disinterest. That's conflict. Her body is speaking the truth that her mind is still debating. This is where a lot of men get confused. Because when a woman is both drawn to you and afraid of that pull, her signals will look mixed. But if you understand female psychology on a deeper level, you'll realize her behavior is not confusion, it's caution. Her attraction to you is real, but she hasn't yet decided what to do with it. She's still testing the emotional climate, still figuring out if it's safe to reveal what's brewing beneath the surface. Her body language is your invitation, not necessarily to make a move, but to be present, to read her with your full attention, because it's in the moments when she subconsciously reveals herself that she's showing the most truth, truth her words might never deliver. And how you respond in those moments, How calm, grounded, and aware you remain will determine whether that tension deepens into intimacy or collapses into retreat. It's also important to understand that many women have been conditioned to downplay their feelings. They've been taught that being too open makes them vulnerable, or worse, desperate. So their bodies speak through contrast, through that shy glance followed by a turned shoulder, through that warm laugh that ends in a self-conscious pause, through that closeness that ends in a quick exit. It's her way of showing up without handing you all the power. So if you notice her body shifting around you, opening, pulling back, subtly reacting, it's not just movement, it's meaning. It's her nervous system in dialogue with your presence. A woman's body often says where her lips won't dare to. And the man who sees that, not with entitlement, but with awareness, is already standing closer to her heart than he realizes. There's a particular reaction that reveals more than she ever intended to show. It's not in her smile, not in her laugh, and not even in her eye contact. It's in how she behaves when another woman enters the picture, especially one who commands your attention. When a woman secretly likes you, nothing stirs her emotions quite like perceived competition, and her response to that moment can be one of the clearest, most unfiltered signs of her hidden desire. She might suddenly go quiet, withdraw just slightly, or shift her energy altogether. What was light and warm a moment ago now turns reserved or distant. You may even feel her mood change, though nothing has been said out loud. Why? Because jealousy, especially the quiet kind, is often a mirror of emotional investment. You don't get jealous over what you don't care about. Her sudden coldness or disappearance isn't about the other woman. It's about you, more specifically how much you've come to matter to her. What makes this interesting, and sometimes confusing, is that she likely won't admit to feeling jealous. In fact, she may go out of her way to act like it doesn't bother her at all. She may even overcompensate with detachment, pretending not to notice what's going on. But her emotional body is already reacting. Her nervous system is activated. That subtle shift you sense isn't accidental. It's emotional territory being disturbed. It's important to understand that when a woman secretly likes you, she's constantly managing an internal emotional equation. How do I protect myself while still staying close enough to feel connected? And jealousy threatens that equation, because in her eyes, your attention to someone else becomes evidence that she might not be as close to your heart as she hoped. And yet, she hasn't told you how she feels. So she has no claim. That's the conflict. She might ask indirect questions. Who was that? Or do you two talk often? Or she may not say anything at all, but leave the moment emotionally. You'll feel it. The emotional warmth she gave you now feels a few degrees colder. That isn't drama. That's her silently trying to recalibrate her feelings to protect herself. Most men either miss this sign entirely or interpret it as moodiness. But for the emotionally intelligent man, this is an opening. It's not a moment to tease or test her. It's a moment to notice what her emotional response says about her attachment. Her jealousy is not just about competition, it's about value. It shows how much she values you, even if she hasn't found the courage to say it aloud. So when you notice that subtle reaction, when you sense her energy shift in the presence of another woman, don't rush to fix it or call it out. Just recognize what it means. She's feeling something real, and even if she's not ready to say it, she's hoping, deep down, that you'll understand what she's showing you without having to ask. Because when a woman cares but hides it, jealousy becomes the emotion she can't fully disguise. And if you see that reaction for what it truly is, you won't need words to know just how deeply you matter.